commemoration of God's providence and faithfulness towards the faithful of his people, this 8-day holiday is called Hanukkah, meaning rededication, in reference to the rededication of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem in the 2nd century BCE under the leadership of the priestly warriors known as the Hashmonaim. In the aftermath of defeating the Hellenist persecutors of God's people, the Hashmonaim found the Holy Temple defiled. When they wished to rekindle the holy menorah that is kept within the temple, they realized there was only enough olive oil in the state of ritual purity to sustain the menorah's light for a single day, but the oil remained lit for 8 days. Just enough time for preparation of more olive oil in a state of ritual purity to begin sustaining the menorah's light perpetually. We therefore celebrate this victory of the righteous of Israel over the oppressive seed of Abraham who had removed themselves from God's people by defiling themselves through embracing the enlightened culture of the ancient Greeks rather than heeding the eternal guidance of our God, the Torah. Given that again in modern times myriads of Jews have abandoned the Torah, making the principles of secular humanism their religion, and join hands with those who most passionately fight against even those principles of our Torah that have spread amongst the nations, the significance of Hanukkah's true meaning is no less meaningful today than it was over 2,000 years ago. Do you call yourself a Jew? Do you know that the word Jew, Yehudi, means one who worships and proclaims Yah, the transcendent Lord of creation? If we call ourselves Jews, we must act according to what the word means, otherwise it means nothing. Let us not be bashful or ashamed to publicly proclaim the sovereignty of Elohei Yisrael, the God of Israel, this and every year, by making the light of Torah known through the lighting of the Hanukkah candle. It's time to rededicate ourselves to our God, and to learn from the Hashmonaim that prayer is not enough, but it is only part of bringing about the redemption of our people. The redemption of our people comes with redeeming the entire world. We must also take action to sanctify the name of the Holy One of Israel, to be compassionate toward the downtrodden, and valiant in the face of corruption. Who is obligated in the lighting of the Hanukkah candle? Israelite men, women, proselytes, and freed servants are all obligated in the lighting of the Hanukkah candle upon reaching majority, which is 12 for girls and 13 for boys. Children below this age can be taught to recite the blessings and light their own Hanukkah candles for educational purposes, and it is praiseworthy to do so. However, one cannot fulfill his own obligation to light by relying on the Hanukkah candle that has been lit by a child, a girl under 12, or a boy under 13 years of age. Where is the Hanukkah candle to be placed? The light of Hanukkah should be placed right outside the entrance of one's home, at least a handbreadth near the entrance itself, on the left side of the entrance as one enters the home, so that the mezuzah will be on the right-hand side of the entrance and the light of the Hanukkah will be on the left. If there are multiple entrances to one's home visible to the public, a Hanukkah candle should be placed at each such entrance. If one doesn't live ground level, the light of Hanukkah should be placed in a window that faces where the public can see it. A Hanukkah candle that was placed higher than 20 cubits up will not be seen. It is not noticeable, and therefore it's of no consequence. In circumstances where public display of the Hanukkah candle would be dangerous, one places it inside one's home, even on one's own table. However, in such a case, there must be another source of light in addition to the Hanukkah candle, because we are not to use the Hanukkah candle for any other purpose other than to proclaim the providence of God. When is the Hanukkah candle supposed to be lit? The Hanukkah candle should be lit as the sun is disappearing from the horizon. They should not be lit neither earlier nor later than sundown. However, if a person forgot, was prevented, or simply transgressed and delayed, he can still light the Hanukkah lights so long as people are still going about in the public places. If people have ceased going about, the Hanukkah candle should not be lit. When lighting the Hanukkah lights, there should be enough oil or wax to keep the flame going until people are no longer to be found going about outside. Historically, this was roughly half an hour after sunset. If the flame went out before people ceased going about outside, one need not relight the flame a second time. If the flame remained lit even after people ceased going about outside, one may extinguish it or move it to another place as he desires. Concerning the Sabbath, one must make certain to light the Hanukkah candle before sunset and not late until the last minute. If the sun already set on the eve of the Sabbath, thus bringing about the Sabbath day, one is forbidden to light the Hanukkah candle that night, regardless of whether one was delayed intentionally or unintentionally. Similarly, one must make sure not to light the Hanukkah candle at sunset as the Sabbath ends. Rather, At the conclusion of the Sabbath, one must wait until the appearance of 3 average-sized stars before he is permitted to light the Hanukkah candle. The Havdalah service should take priority, and then the Hanukkah candle lit. How are the Hanukkah candles to be lit? The most basic manner in which one is permitted to observe the lighting of Hanukkah candles is that one light only 1 candle each night of Hanukkah. According to this method, each household lights only 1 candle in the appropriate place each night of Hanukkah, regardless of how many people dwell in the home. One who desires to fulfill the duty of lighting Hanukkah candles in a more beautiful manner is to do so by lighting the number of candles which is equal to the number of people in his home, whether male or female. If 4 people dwell in his home, he lights 4 candles each night, so that even on the 8th night of Hanukkah, he lights only 4 candles, just as he lit 4 candles on the first night. If there are 5 people who dwell in his home, then every night of Hanukkah he lights only 5 candles. However, a person who wants to fulfill the duty of lighting Hanukkah candles in the ideal manner will do as follows. On the first night, he will light the number of candles according to the number of people dwelling in his home. If 4 people, 4 candles. If 5 people, 5 candles. However, unlike the previous method of lighting, in this choicest manner of lighting, he will add each night more candles according to the number of people in his home. So, if his household consists of 4 people, the first night he lights only 4 candles. The second night he will light 8 candles, adding 4 more candles the second night, according to the number of people in his home, 4 people, and so forth. So that by the 8th night of Hanukkah, he will be lighting 32 candles. If there were 5 people who dwell in his home, the first night he lights 5 candles, the second night 10 candles, and so forth, adding an additional 5 candles every night, so that by the 8th night he lights 40 candles. Despite these methods of lighting taught by our sages, the widespread practice is to light in the following manner, with slight variance depending upon whether the family is Ashkenazi or Sephardi. Regardless of the number of people dwelling in one's home, the following pattern is followed. On the first night, only 1 candle is lit, not including the shamash. On the second night, 2 candles are lit. An additional candle is added to the left of the location where the lone candle was lit on the first night. On the third night, 3 candles are lit, with 1 candle added to the left of the location where the new candle was lit on the second night. This pattern is followed so that by the 8th night, a total of 8 Hanukkah candles are lit. Each night, care is taken that a distinct candle is added near the Hanukkah lights to ensure that if we benefit from the light of this location where the Hanukkah candle is found, we will be benefiting from the non-Hanukkah candle which is lit, because we are not to use the Hanukkah candles for purposes other than the proclamation of the miracle of Hanukkah. As mentioned earlier, this extra non-Hanukkah candle, which is called the shamash, is only required by halakha in the case that one lights in his home. However, the present practice is that this extra candle, the shamash, is added wherever one lights. Would it be that we give consideration and priority to the guidance of our sages over that of popular practice? Concerning the blessings, whatever method of lighting the Hanukkah candles one chooses, on all 8 nights before lighting the Hanukkah candles, one first says the following 2 blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher asa nisim la'avotenu b'yomim hahem b'zaman hazeh. And on the first night alone, one also says this next blessing immediately after reciting the last 2 just mentioned. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, shehehayanu uqiyamanu uhigi'anu lazaman hazeh. Worshipful are you, O transcendent Lord, our venerable authority, King of the universe, who sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to light the Hanukkah candle. Blessed are you, O transcendent Lord, our venerable authority, King of the universe, who has done miracles for our forefathers in these days at this time. And the third blessing, which is said after these 2, only on the first night, is as follows. Blessed are you, O transcendent Lord, our venerable authority, King of the universe, who has enlivened us and sustained us and brought us to this time. On all 8 nights, those who see the Hanukkah candles but who did not light, say the following blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu b'yomim ha'hem b'zaman hazeh. And on the first night alone, those who simply saw the Hanukkah lights additionally bless. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, she'hayyanu v'qiyyamanu v'higi'anu lazaman hazeh. Blessed are you, O transcendent Lord, our venerable authority, King of the universe, who has given us life, sustained us, and brought us to this time. Our sages ordained that the 8 days of Hanukkah be days of rejoicing and praise. In addition to lighting the Hanukkah candles, they are also to be days free of lamentation or fasting. During these 8 days, we make a special addition to our daily prayers. We add words of gratitude and recollection of the events surrounding the Hashmonayim, in the 18th blessing of the Amidah, as well as in the second blessing of grace after meals, Birkat HaMazon. In the spirit of gratitude and proclaiming God's greatness during this time, we also have a special Torah reading, which is done during communal worship on all 8 days of Hanukkah. And just as with the biblically mandated holy days, our sages also decreed that whether one prays alone or with the community, Psalms 113 through 118 are recited in full, in praise of the living God, our deliverer, and proceeded with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher qiddashonu b'mitzvotav, v'tziwanu li'gmer et ha'halel. Worshipful are you, O transcendent Lord, our venerable authority, King of the universe, who sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to complete the recitation of Hallel praise.